Hey guys, welcome back. Two things. One, I'm in a desperate need of a bang trim. And two, I want to do a reading vlog, and it's Pride Month, and honestly, I tend to read almost exclusively queer fiction, so here we are, a Pride-themed reading vlog. Specifically, a lot of the books that I tend to read are sapphic, so that's also a little thing if you're looking for more sapphic reads. And actually, the book that inspired this all was me trying to get over it, April Evans, which is really good. I've just been so busy and I just really want to read this. This is the second book in the Clover Lake trilogy by Ashley Herring Blake, which you might recognize as the author of the Bright Falls trilogy, which is one of my favorite, and I mean favorite, sapphic rom-com books ever. And so I'm reading this right now, and I know that this will probably take me a hot second to get through because the next couple days are going to be insane, starting with the fact that I'm going to be going to work. I have a Mexico watch party later and for the soccer game. And also I just have a bunch of projects. I'm visiting my sister. But through all of this, I want to be reading. And vlogs kind of inspire me and hold me accountable. So here we are. Anyways, let's meet the next couple books that I have on the docket, starting with this one, which is called Of Beasts. This is I believe an indie book, but it's two priests that fall in love, one of which is the Antichrist. And then the next book that I have is Manhunt, which is actually going to be a buddy read with one of my friends. Shout out to Cassie, wherever you are. We're going to be reading this book, which is about two queer women who are serial killers in, I think, a post-apocalyptic world. I'm sold. I am sold. I was sold from the get. You might recognize this from one of my first reading vlogs. So there's that one. And then I have Sunburn, which is about two queer girls who grow up in 1970s Ireland, I believe. And there's a lot of internalized homophobia. There's a lot of, religious trauma. And I've heard that this is just really beautiful, heartbreaking, but beautiful. In fact, I think I'll read this to you. Never in all my years of Christianity has there been talk of an angel like this. My God, she is not even walking. She floats around the room. That is beautiful. That is poetic. This is going to ruin me, but it's a must read. And then I have another sapphic little rom-com about, I believe, someone who has a flower shop, obviously Anderson and Bloom. I believe she's a former child star, and her former co-star ends up coming in and they fall in love, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But this is the next one. And then the last one is actually a reread of mine. But I've been wanting to reread it for a long time and to tab it. And I finally have a physical copy, and that's Hijab Butch Blues. I love this book so much. It is so beautiful. It is something that I think every queer person should read, especially if you are a sapphic woman, if you are a queer woman. This is something that I think is pivotal in our understanding of what it means to be queer in a sapphic way, in a lesbian way. And I don't know, it's beautiful. I want to tab it. I'm going to try to read this. It might not make it into this vlog, but it is on the docket. And obviously I have a few other ones on my Kindle. There's a sapphic dark mafia romance. I have a Greek sapphic retelling. I'm sure you're sensing a theme. So I have plenty of options to choose from. Nothing is really set in stone. These are just kind of the vibes. And without further ado, I have to get to work. So I have to get dressed and get going. And I'm so excited. Today's going to be so much fun. And I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hey guys, so 1, Mexico won, which I am so happy about. 2, I had a great time with my friends. And 3, it is now time to get cozy and read. But first, I just need to talk about the book, just like some of my thoughts. And okay, I loved Dream on Ramona Riley. I read the whole thing on the plane, beginning to end. And I finished it before I even landed in New York back in April. So just to give you an idea of how much I enjoyed that book. So when I picked up Get Over It, April Evans, I was expecting that same amount of just like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with this. I love this so much. I have to keep reading. And I'm not quite experiencing that, I will say. I love April Evans as a character. I feel like she's really relatable. She's my avoidant queen. I love her so much. But I feel like I don't love Daphne as much as I thought I would. And I think even though I really like her, I don't relate to her as much. And I think that's probably why I'm struggling a little bit. Like I'm still having such a great time because honestly, the premise is so wild to fall in love with the ex of your ex, who's also your ex's mistress that she cheated on you with. Like that's insane. That's an insane premise. And so the drama of it is so like fun and insane and good, but it's just not as fun as the first book. And 2, I'm already so excited for the third book in the series, which is I think called Take a Chance, Sasha Sinclair. And we already meet Sasha in this book. And when I tell you, I already love Sasha. I love Sasha so much. I literally cannot wait to meet her. I cannot wait to read her book. It comes out in September and I'm so pumped. But I really shouldn't be this excited for the next book while I'm reading the second book. You know, like I feel like this book is great and I love it, but it's just not, it doesn't have the same like that the first book had, and it doesn't have the same, and I don't think this series has quite the same grip on me as the Bright Falls trilogy, I'll be honest. But it's still really good. I still think I'm probably going to end up rating this pretty highly just because it's still so fun. And the author just does such a great job of like handling life and like the complications that come with it. And all of her characters are so beautifully human. And I just like enjoy reading what she writes. But I think it's just like a tad, like I would say like just like a little, like a smidge disappointing that it's just not as strong of a book for me. And I think that might be different if people relate to Daphne more or maybe find like more connection here than they did with Ramona Riley. But for me, Ramona Riley hit closer to home, and I think that's why I loved it so much. This one a little less. And then Sasha Sinclair, I'm just a sucker for butch for femme. I love a butch for femme. And that's the trope for or it's not a trope, but it's like part of the premise for the third book. And I love a butch for femme thing. And I find that it's kind of hard to find a butch for femme like rep in media. And so whenever it does exist, I'm just like so excited. Anyways, I'm not at 50% yet, but I will be probably by the end of tonight. So wish me luck. We're going to read a little bit and then pass out because I'm exhausted. So it is time for a little update. One, we won the Mexico-Korea game, so that was great. I had a great time with my friends. And then the next day it was time for me to go to my sister's, and so I took the train down there. And look, I love taking the train because I get to read. I don't have to worry about traffic. I don't have to worry about anything. It's just me, the train, and making sure I get off at the right stops. And this time I got to stop by the little bar that's at Union Station, which was pretty cute. Got a little glass of wine. It was lovely. Got to read there too. And then when I didn't want to look at anything, I had the audiobook playing, which shout out to Libby for having this audiobook come out or like be ready for me to borrow right on time. Anyways, and so I've done Pilates today, I've had lunch, I've been reading, and now it's time for like a little reading update. And you know what? I stand by what I said. Like, I think Get Over It, April Evans is a fun book. It's great. But again, I find myself way more interested in like the side characters. Like, I really love seeing Ramona, who was in the first book. I really like seeing Sasha, who's going to be in the third book. I just feel like it's a great book and it's really fun. I just don't love it as much as I love everything else Ashley Herring Blake has like written, and I don't think it's my favorite. And it's still really fun, and there's so many cute little scenes, and also some kind of like just gay chaos scenes, which are honestly the best, but also like, oh my god. Which, if you read the book, maybe you'll know what I'm talking about, specifically the scene where they all go on like a little walk down like this, what is it, like moonlight moon something, but it's like a walk or a hike, and things transpire, and it is just gay chaos, and I love it, and it's so much fun. And if you've read the book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But ultimately, I'm around 50% right now. I'm gonna try and finish this today, but I do have other things to do, so I think I will probably listen to the audiobook while I work on a project and edit, because I'm actually still working on my New York video today, so which should be coming out hopefully tomorrow, maybe the day after, it depends. But yeah, it's a busy day, but it's so nice and it's so lovely that I might work out here for a little bit or just read for another little moment before I have to go and do like all the things on my to-do list. But yeah, I will see you guys later. I will, keep you updated. Hopefully I get to finish this book today and give you guys an update. And then I'm pretty sure the next book I'm going to read is going to be either Manhunt or Of Beasts. It'll be Manhunt if my friend is ready to jump on the buddy read. If not, it'll be Of Beasts because it's nice and short, and that way she can like finish up whatever she's reading right now, and we can buddy read Manhunt together. So we'll see. Hey guys, so I am now going to work. I am actually driving, but I wanted to yap a bit. So here's the thing. I was wrong about me not liking Get Over It, April Evans as much, because I just got to this point where the main character, or one of them, Daphne, has this really like
big realization about her last relationship, about what it meant to her, about where she was at in life. And April, the other main character, the titular character, has a really similar one, and I just read it and it was beautiful, and I just felt so seen and so like, I don't know, it was just so good, and now I'm obsessed. Also, they just, confessed that they care about each other, and they just started dating, and it's just so good. I'm so excited. I know there's gonna be a third act breakup, but I'm not ready. But I think I'm gonna finish it today, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna start Of Beasts. So that's kind of where we're at today, and I'm just so excited. Like, I love reading, and I love being able to just talk about it, even if it's just with like the camera. It's just so fun, and I used to do vlogs like this all the time when I was reading other things like fan fiction or like other books that my friends weren't reading, that they weren't going to read, and now I'm doing this, and it just feels kind of nice.
Hey guys, so I finally did it. I finished, where is it? Hold on, please hold. I finally finished Get Over It, April Evans, and it took me forever, like literally forever to read this, just because I've been so busy, but I did it. I've done it, and here are my thoughts. I think overall, this is not as strong as the first book in the series, Dream On, Ramona Riley. I feel like the characters were much more compelling, and I feel like the story unfolded in a way that kept me going as a reader. I feel like this one kind of lost me about halfway. I feel like it's not that it lost its footing. I feel like it kind of just didn't know what to do with itself. Like the story kind of like lost shape and then came back near like 3/4 of the way to the end. And the end was perfect. I loved it. Happy ending, which we obviously always love. And I really grew to love the character, specifically Daphne. I feel like so much of her story about love and earning love and what that meant for her own autonomy and understanding of herself was like a beautiful thing to kind of like witness as she went from like one really controlling relationship, right? The initial person, the shared ex that these both characters have, to like really understanding and like exploring and like loving who she was becoming. I thought that was beautiful. And as someone who went through a pretty traumatic breakup, as most people do, I found that storyline kind of beautiful. And I really loved April. April, I think, is like my avoidant queen, which I've already said. And I feel like I relate to that aspect of her a lot. So when I got to see those parts of them shine a little bit more, I felt like I loved the characters more. And the story really just highlighted those things and did a great job. But there was just this middle section where I was like, I don't know what to do with this. It's not that I didn't like it, it just wasn't as strong as like Dream On, Ramona Riley. That being said, I still gave this 4 stars out of 5, 4.5 I think, because it was so close to being perfect except for that like middle section. But here we are. We love her. It's great. And now, thankfully, my friend said that we can start this one, so I'm going to read the first 5 chapters of Manhunt. But seeing as this is a buddy read, and I'm going to be waiting for her, I am going to be reading Of Beasts in between both of these. Yeah, so that's the game plan, and I'm so excited. I feel like these are going to pair really well, because this has like aspects of humor in it, and this has, I don't know what this is, but I have a feeling that this is going to be really intense. So having these two like kind of intertwine is going to be perfect. So yeah. I literally can't wait to start. I'm already in comfy clothes, as you can probably tell. So I'm just going to spend the rest of my evening reading. Hey guys, so as you can probably tell, I had a little cozy night in. I did some skincare, I did some self-care, I did some color depositing conditioner because I'm trying to make sure that the red in my hair lasts until I diet next time. But we're here, and I read the first 5 chapters of Manhunt, and now I can finally tell you what it's actually about. So, it follows these 2 girls, Beth and Fran, who are trying to survive this post-apocalyptic world where anyone with enough testosterone becomes this rabid, violent creature that attacks and kills and eats anything and everything. And there's also these groups of survivor women who are called TERFs, who are also trying to kind of stop and attack Beth and Fran, because Fran is trans. And obviously, there's so much to unpack there. There's so much to apply to nowadays, especially with like queer discourse and the discussions around trans bodies, queer bodies, what's allowed, what's not allowed. And this book was so ahead of its time, and I can't believe I'm only reading it now, but I'm so invested. And I can't wait to read more. I can't wait for my friend to catch up so I can keep reading. But in the meantime, I have Of Beasts, which is this little short book about the 2 priests that fall in love. One of them is the Antichrist. So this will definitely be a fun little read, intense, chaotic, definitely a whole situation that I will have thoughts on because of course I do. And yeah, so I'm gonna start this. Hopefully I can finish this in the next day or so and then start something else. And I'll keep you guys updated. Hey guys, so as you can see, I'm in my car, and today my game plan is to just start off my day with either at the park or at a coffee shop and just kind of read, maybe journal a little bit, and just have like a nice little beginning of my weekend, because I really want to have another cozy night in, surprise, surprise, and kind of just read as much as possible. I didn't get too far into Of Beasts because I got so tired, but I think I can make pretty good headway today while I wait for my friend to catch up on Manhunt. And I will keep you guys updated, and let's get going. Hey guys, so it's time for a reading update. I had such a chill little morning going to the coffee shop, reading, journaling there, and then coming back here and reading in the living room, then getting into bed. It's all been very cozy and very nice. That being said, I have been so distracted, and so I have not read nearly as much of this as I would have liked. I'm about halfway through. There's only 100 pages, but I'm on page 64. So I still have like 40-ish pages to go. And first I just want to correct what I said about this book. It's not 2 priests that fall in love. It's a priest that falls in love with someone who's part of his congregation, and they fall in love. By the time this book starts, they've already developed like this full-on affair, and they have a system. They see each other, and they both start dreaming something. And essentially this dream is that his death, specifically by Jude's hand, is going to bring the end of the world, and thus making him the Antichrist. And it's honestly insane, and it's been like a really interesting look into both of these characters' lives, and to see the parallels and like the literary connections between the Bible, like fiction in general, like obviously Dante's Inferno, and also just like general more modern day depictions of the end of the world, all wrapped up in like just a really short span of time, has been really interesting. And I've had a really fun time like analyzing it and just like annotating the different like things that pop up for me, the analysis I might have. None of it is particularly smart, but it makes me feel smart in doing it, and so I'm having a great time. I always really liked doing that, like in high school, and then in college I studied literary arts, so obviously I really love a good literary analysis. And so sorry to all my friends who hate when I write in books. I've been writing a lot in this one. So I'm actually thinking that I'll finish this today. I'm having such a good time reading it. I will say that, like, it's short. It's going to be short, but I want more. I want more time with these characters. I want more time in their brains. I want to understand them more, but I don't think that we're going to get that just because of the nature of this thing. That being said, I am so really excited to keep reading. No update on Manhunt yet, but maybe later. We'll see. I do know that I want to end today by watching that new movie, Voicemails for Isabel. I've heard that it's absolutely emotionally devastating, and I have to watch it. So we'll see if I get around to it. But I will see you guys soon, hopefully with another update. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back, and now it's time for a little reading update. As you can tell, I'm in my kitchen because I'm making breakfast. I just finished making chilaquiles, and now I'm going to make an egg to top it off. My trick is always to do the egg after I make the chilaquiles so it soaks up the sauce and the little bits of tortilla that are left behind, and it's just chef's kiss. Anyways, of Beast, we gotta talk about that. It's a short book. And in 100 pages, there's only so much you can do. And while I think that there was plot holes, I feel like there was more story left to tell. And like, I feel like there was definitely things to be that left me wanting. And ultimately, I think taking the constraints into consideration, it was like a fever dream of an emotion. Of emotions. It was like yearning and ache and loss and grief, all melded into this weird umbrella that felt a lot like, I don't even know. I feel like I don't even have fully formed thoughts, even though it's been like a couple hours, 24 hours, 12 hours. Because it's 11 a.m. right now. There's definitely just a lot there, but it was beautiful. I really like that the crux of this whole thing was that queer love was healing, and even though, you know, these two characters might be condemned, they might be doomed, there is no denying the amount of care that exists for each other. And I always find that really beautiful in stories that do end in a little bit more of a heavy way. And ultimately, like, there's this one part, and I put it in this vlog, where Dante, he's the Antichrist, he thinks that maybe there's been other people like him. And if there's been other people like him, maybe they've stopped this apocalypse because they love the world too much, because they loved someone so much. And I found that sentiment so utterly beautiful. I literally had to stop and close the book. And by that point, there was only like 10 pages left. I knew where it was headed. I won't spoil anything, but I will say that I think the author did a great job of like balancing these greater ideas of religion and goodness with love and the reality of the world and the harshness of it. And again, with the crux being that queer love, being queer, can be something that's powerful, that's healing, that's just has the ability to change things, that has the ability to alter things, to bring people closer to themselves, to bring people closer to a life they wanted to live, like with Dante's mom, or like freedom in Jude's case, who's the priest. I found that really beautiful. Ultimately, I wish there was more book. There isn't more book, and that's where we are. I think I gave it like almost 4 stars. Stars. I almost gave it 4 stars. I think it's like 3.75 is like what I gave it. I am taking a break from like the heavier stories, and I'm gonna read Anderson and Bloom, which is a sapphic rom-com, and I'm excited to read it. So I'm kind of returning to where I started the vlog with Get Over It April Evans, now Anderson and Bloom, and I'll be alternating that with Manhunt. And so that's kind of like what my Sunday is gonna look like. I feel like I've had such a sporadic reading week, and I don't know how long I'm gonna make this vlog, but I did say that I don't know if I did say, but in my head, I know that I wanted to read 4 books. I only have 2 left, and then maybe I'll wrap it up. We'll see. So I'm going to try to read Anderson and Bloom today, see what else I get up to, see what other cozy things. I do have it on audiobook, as you guys already saw. And yeah, I'm just super excited to have like more reading time today, more downtime, and we'll see what else I do. Any other cozy things that might happen. But anyways, I will have this breakfast. I'm very excited. My egg just finished. And I will see you guys later. Bye. Hey guys, so as you can see, it is now nighttime and the day has gone past and I'm here now. I did get distracted by Love Island, but I am finally caught up. And oh my god, so many thoughts. I never thought I'd be the kind of person who is this invested in this reality TV show, but here I am. I am deeply invested. And you know what? I have no regrets. Just a lot of thoughts. Anyways, I did manage to read more of Anderson and Bloom, and now I can actually tell you what it's about. So Andy is a former child star who was co-star to Nikki, their ex-girlfriend, and they had a massive falling out. They broke up, and there's a lot of drama between the two of them. Andy has started to put her life together again and has a semblance of something when Nikki decides that she's going to write a tell-all book. And this is one of like my most hated tropes, but this is why writers always get a bad rep. Like, writers are always telling people secrets and writing people into their stories and then making them feel uncomfortable and just like doing unequivocally bad things. Like, you can't argue with me on that front. Anyways, I hate that trope. It makes us writers look bad. And yet, I am really invested in this storyline. Seeing them kind of interact again is really interesting, and I really like the dynamic that they have, even though they're kind of like fighting it. And there's definitely more to find out about like what actually happened to them, and like I think it does warrant, even though I hate this trope, a deeper look into like what is considered like Nikki's story, especially when it comes to her own coming out, to her own queerness, to growing up, when it's so deeply tied to someone else that everyone in the public knows. There's a lot of questions about that, which I appreciate, even if I dislike the trope. But it's really cute, it's sweet. I really like the characters. Andy is very special to me. I love her already. I can see myself in her, and so here I am rooting for her. And no update on Manhunt. My friend has not read more chapters, so I have a feeling I'll probably be finishing this book next. And then hopefully, for some reason, I'm pretty convinced I can finish this within the next 24 hours. I don't think that's true, but if it is, I think I might read Sunburn after this, maybe, or alternatively, I have Lucy Undying, which is another sapphic romance, but this time vampires. So I'm going to sit on that. And I'm going to end my night with reading just a little bit more of this, because I love a sapphic rom-com. It's just so good. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Hey guys, so today was Monday, which means it was a work from home day, which means I got to listen to this book on audiobook on Spotify because my Libby hole did not come in time, which is fine. Anyways, not that it mattered because I really didn't get to use the audiobook as much as I wanted to because work got really hectic and I really had to like lock in, and work got in the way. What can I say? Anyways, I am not going to be able to finish this today, but I do think I can finish it by tomorrow. I am having a really great time reading it. I really like these characters. I really, really, really love Andy. I know I said this last night, but I think like she's just such a relatable character. She is like emotional and she processes things. She tries to be healthy about it. She tries to move forward in the best way and struggles, and I think we can all kind of relate to that, especially after like a big breakup and seeing your ex. So I really love it. I love her friends. I love how, you know, they're moving with her on this, and I just love the backdrop of like small town and like flower shop. At this point, Nikki and her are kind of talking about the book, and that's not too much of a spoiler. So they're talking and they're revisiting memories. And something just happened, and I can't, which leads me to my second point because I'm not going to spoil that part. I feel like it's really hard to write books where exes turn into lovers again, because usually there's a reason that they broke up, and usually that reason stays valid. It stays valid and they shouldn't get back together. Usually that's the case. And I'm not saying that this book is the exception, but I am saying that maybe the jury's out. So we'll see. Because kind of, sort of, I'm not necessarily rooting for them yet, but I am rooting for Andy. And it's not the same thing, but I think that there's something there. And I think the way the author writes the story is compelling enough for me to be like, okay, I might not always love this trope, and I might think too critically about this trope sometimes, but in this case I'm willing to suspend belief at least a little bit. But we'll keep you guys updated. Hopefully I can finish this by tomorrow. I do have some evening plans because my partner just got back from their trip, so I will be seeing them today. And yeah, but I will be doing some reading before I go, reading on the way there with the audiobook, and then reading when I get home. So hopefully that's enough to give me a good head start for tomorrow, which thankfully is another work from home day, and I can actually listen to the audiobook more and hopefully finish this, because tomorrow is the last day of Pride Month, and this is, I feel like, a good little fun rom-com to just end with, especially because that's how I started this month. I do think that after this, depending on my mood, if I'm feeling whimsy, it'll be the vampire book I told you all about. And if it's more of a serious mood, I will probably go for Sunburn. And regardless, I think that'll be the last book of the vlog. I will have reached 4 books, which I think is the perfect amount for a reading vlog. But yeah, wish me luck. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Hey guys, so I have a couple of updates, a couple of things I want to share. 1, Mexico won their game today, which is the furthest we've made it in the World Cup since like the 80s. So today is just a great day. 2, I'm getting my hair cut tomorrow, which I'm so excited about because this needs to be fixed. My bangs need to be trimmed because they keep curling in weird ways that I can't predict. And 3, and the real reason we're all here, is I finished this book. And I have thoughts that I will now share. I know that I said that this book has like tropes that I don't typically like. So like the second chance romance and the writer thing. But I will say that the author did a really great job of making it work for their story, for both Andy and Nikki. And honestly, like the gripes I usually have with those tropes, I didn't really have here. Like for instance, the writer writing a book or an expose essentially about their life that, you know, includes someone else, in the end felt very healing and honestly made a lot of sense for both of these characters. And two, the second chance romance worked because both of these characters went through a lot and needed to heal and like really build themselves up as people before coming back together, if that makes sense. So I feel like it was just a really good like mix of things that worked for this pairing. And so I was just able to have a lot of fun and enjoy it and just kind of like be along for the ride. And also, I just really like how the author wrote it. I feel like the person who was wronged more in the relationship, you can really see her struggle, Andy, with Nikki. But Nikki is obviously like a very changed person. She's been through a lot. She's now clean because this book also touches on addiction. And I think the way that they portrayed Nikki was just so beautiful, and I just loved her so much as a character. Like, I'm very protective of Nikki, and it was just so cute to see them end up together because obviously, as with all like rom-coms that I read, it's like a guaranteed happy ever after. And I don't know, it's just so sweet. I ended up rating this like 4.5 stars, I think. So if you're like a fan of anything like the Bright Falls trilogy or anything Ashley Herring Blake, you're gonna love this. It's really good. It's very similar in the fact that it's contemporary, that it's a romance, that it tackles real life things and treats their, like, both authors treat their characters with so much grace and compassion. It's a fun read. I did mostly read this in audiobook, but I do have this thing where I have to read the first chapter and the last few chapters, like physically, whether it's like a book or like on my e-reader. And I did manage to do that. And I don't know, it's so cute and I'm so happy. And I feel like the ending was just kind of perfect. But now that we're at the end, I only have one book left to read for this vlog. And I think, don't quote me on this tomorrow because I might change my mind, but I'm thinking that I'm going to do Lucy Undying because I'm in the mood for some fantasy. I've read a lot of contemporary things or things rooted in like the modern era, and I need something that's different. I need something that's like kind of ridiculous, kind of insane, and I do love me a vampire. So we're going to do Lucy Undying. I am going to look for the book and then pack it for my work bag because I do go into the office tomorrow. And I'll probably start reading it over there, probably get the audiobook if I can on Spotify or on Libby or something, and kind of just have it on while I work. And I will give you an update on it tomorrow. But today was a great day. It was great. I'm so happy. And this book is so good. Please pick it up if you're even remotely interested in it. It's very cute. It's very fun. Also, a little sad sometimes, but like, it's just such a worthy read, I think. Anyways, I will let you guys go because I need to sleep and you need to sleep. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know when you're watching this. Anyways, I will see you guys later. Bye. Hey guys, so it is finally time to do a little check-in about Lucy Undying, and let me tell you, I think this might be my favorite book that I read this entire reading vlog. I picked it up and I knew within the first chapter I was the target audience. Literally, I am the target audience. Gay vampires, lesbian vampires, sign me up. You know, an exploration of a canonical text through a queer lens, perfect, sign me up. This is what I have been wanting to read. I just didn't know I wanted to read it until I picked this up. Anyways, let me tell you what this is about. So this follows two characters. So we have Iris, who is trying to get her life together after her mother dies, and there's obviously something heavy going on with her family, with her past, with her relationship to, you know, her family's legacy in particular. So there's that going on. We don't know a lot yet. I'm really excited to find out what's happening. And then we have Lucy, who is the titular character of this book, and she is one of Dracula's brides. And so we get to find out her story through two main ways. The first being like these journal entries that she wrote back when she was human, so before she turned, and then we have her recounting her entire life story to a therapist that she saves. And so we're reading the transcriptions of that conversation, which is very, very interesting. And obviously, at some point, Lucy and Iris start to interact. So we get to see Lucy through Iris's eyes. But it's interesting that we never ever get to see Lucy in her own light. Like, we get these fragments of her, nothing that is truly her. We don't get to see what she is like in her own head. The closest we have is this version of her that no longer exists, this human version. Anyways, I am having such a great time reading this. This is literally so much fun. The writing style is funny and witty, but has these one-liners that like kind of leave you breathless, and I'm just having such a great time. And it took me a hot second to realize that I know this author. I read this series called Paranormalcy, and back when I was in high school, and it was like one of those books that came out during the YA book boom, and I love them. And so I'm not really surprised that like I found my way back to this author, considering how much I like that series. But here we are. Anyways, I can't wait to keep reading this. I can't wait to tell you guys more of my thoughts. Right now, all I have is like, this is fun. This is great. This is exactly what I needed. It's giving like Summerween. It's giving like, it's just so good. I don't know. It's just the perfect book. It found me at the perfect time, and I can't wait to keep reading. Okay, quick pause. Let me just read this to you. What would I give to be seen, to be carefully studied and perfectly understood? Would I let someone carve me up if it meant feeling like I was loved? I knew the answer was yes, because it had always been yes. What the heck? What the heck? This book is too good. This book is too good. Hey guys, so I have finished Lucy Undying, which means two things. I'm about to give you my thoughts on this book, and also it's the end of the vlog. So let's talk about Lucy Undying, because oh my god, this book was so much fun, so good. I literally have been raving about it to as many people as I can. I've been telling my partner all about it. I've been telling one of my best friends all about it. It's so good. So let's get into it. I love the way that the author kind of tackles this idea of women's autonomy, women's ability to be in control of their own selves, their bodies, their futures, their voices, and the ways in which historical contexts can kind of erase that. And I think she's able to reclaim that through Lucy, who is one of Dracula's victims, and kind of reclaim her and give her her own narrative, her own voice back. And in doing so, writes this like really amazing story about a girl who like gets comfortable with her own self after she, dies, after she becomes a vampire, and gets to go on this incredible journey of love and loss and grief, but ultimately of coming home to herself, which I think is so beautiful. And I love Lucy. We do get her POV later on in the book around the last quarter, and she's so funny. I love her so much. But I will say that Iris's chapters, her POVs, were my favorite. She's so funny, and her gay panic scenes are just, they were everything to me. I think I highlighted about, like, I don't know, the majority of her chapters, because she's just such a witty and, like, interesting person to read about through, yeah, you know what I mean. So 10 out of 10, this book is so good, 5 stars. And also, if you're like me and you don't really like to read super tragic queer novels and sometimes just want that comfort of like knowing that there's a happy ending, there is a happy-ish ending to this. And I think, despite the ending, like, quarter of the book being a little clunky with the way they're trying to wrap everything up, I do think that it was done still pretty well. I think it maybe could have been a second book, but either way, the ending itself was perfect, even if the latter half of the journey to get there was a little clunky, a little bit uneven, and definitely different pacing than the first 3/4 of the book. I do forgive it though, because I obviously really love the characters and just am glad that I got to know what happened to them. Anyways, if there's ever another book about these two, about Iris and Lucy, and their final vendetta that you find about at the end of the book, I would definitely read that. Anyways, 5 out of 5, please read. It's so good. I need people to talk about this book too. And then, since we're here, we're going to be doing a little recap, and we have Get Over It, April Evans, which was the first book I read in this vlog, and so good, so fun, classic, can't go wrong with this. I will say I still think that the first book in the series is better than this one. It's a stronger contender in my opinion, but I am really psyched about Take a Chance, Sasha Sinclair, which comes out in a couple months, and I will be reading that. And then we have, of course, this sad, kind of devastating but beautiful exploration of queerness as it intersects with, like, religion, and specifically Catholicism and the end of the world. And this book was really great. I think after sitting on it for a little bit, it's not as strong of a read, I think, for me. Like, I think I might have rated it 4 stars. I think I would give it like 3.5. I think I wanted more from the book, and despite the book itself and the language being so beautiful, I think I really did need more story for this one. And then, of course, we have Anderson and Bloom, which I also really loved. I think this and Lucy Undying were like my top books. They were so good, so fun, and I think I really liked that this one tackled a little bit deeper into topics that were heavy, like addiction, like childhood trauma, and like what that can do to relationships and the way that you relate to other people in general. I love this book. It was so fun. I would say if I was going to rank these, it would probably be Lucy Undying first, Anderson and Bloom, Get Over It, April Evans, and then Of Beasts. I think that's my final ranking for this vlog. But yay, you've made it to the end. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got a few queer book recs for you to read. And yeah, I will see you next time. Please drink some water, take care of yourself, and treat yourself because you deserve it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.